Welcome, specimen. Right now, your stomach acid is contained. A delicate mucosal lining prevents it from digesting your own organs. You rely on this invisible boundary every time you swallow. The body is an engine of brilliant containment. Until the heartbeat stops, it is already preparing to eat you. This is called autolysis, and it is the first stage of your biological unraveling. You will undergo this precise timeline of decay. Everyone you know will. It is the ultimate, unavoidable somatic glitch awaiting your fragile frame. The cells themselves become the necrotic narrator of your final hours. Let us exhume this cellular apostasy. The heart ceases its rhythmic pounding. The internal furnace extinguishes. Welcome to algor mortis, the cold descent. Without the pressurized flow of circulation, your core temperature drops roughly 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit every single hour. The metabolic heat that built your ambitions, that fueled your midnight panics, dissipates harmlessly into the sterile air of the clinical slab or the damp, indifferent soil of the earth. This is the first dermal betrayal. The skin pales dramatically, stretching taut over the scaffolding of the skull as ambient moisture begins to evaporate from the outermost tissues. Gravity, the silent master we fight every waking second, finally claims total victory. Blood, once a racing current, now surrenders. It pools in the lowest anatomical points of the vessel. Heavy red blood cells settle like toxic sediment in a stagnant pond, staining the skin from within. This purplish-red discoloration is known as livor mortis. It is a grim hemolymph script writing the exact, undignified position of your final collapse for the autopsy suite to read. It tells us if you were dragged. It tells us the physical truth of your ending. You believe your blood is a noble river of life. In a few short hours, it will become a stagnant, heavy swamp, pooling in your lower back, your thighs, your heavy, useless hands. You will carry the bruised stain of your own gravity. Pause. Before the livor mortis deepens, a brief word from your examiner. If this anatomy of fear is serving its purpose, subscribe. Every new subscriber is another specimen willing to study what was never meant to be taught. Another mind that refuses to look away. And if this case file deserves wider distribution, a like costs you nothing. It tells the algorithm where to send the others. We continue the dissection. Following the cooling and the pooling comes the absolute stiffening. Rigor mortis. The essential chemical currency of the living body, ATP, is entirely depleted. Without it, the muscle fibers simply cannot detach from one another. Calcium floods the microscopic sarcomeres, binding actin and myosin proteins into a locked, inescapable embrace. It begins subtly in the eyelids, then the jaw, the neck. Finally, it creeps downward, a rigid paralysis seizing the major limbs. It is a horrifying ossified memory of movement, a biological statue carved from failing flesh. Your jaw will lock with bone-crushing force. Your fists will clench so tightly the nails may pierce the palm. You will strike a rigid, defensive posture against a predator that has already consumed you, fighting a physiological war that ended hours ago. This rigidity is a temporary illusion, lasting only until the proteins themselves begin to rot and snap. But for those long hours, the cadaver mimics an intense, silent agony. A frozen spasm trapped in the unyielding muscle fibers. the rigidity of your muscles is temporary. It will inevitably yield to a far more grotesque transformation. Welcome to putrefaction. During your life, you were never truly alone. Your gut housed trillions of bacteria, a delicate flora that digested your food and synthesized your vitamins. They were loyal only because you fed them and contained them with an active immune system. The moment your heart stopped, that truce ended. This is the symbiotic schism. The bacteria in your intestines realize the host is dead. Starved of their usual nutrients and free from the policing of your white blood cells, they turn their voracious appetites outward. They begin to consume the very tissue that once sheltered them. It starts in the cecum, the lower right quadrant of your abdomen. A subtle greenish discoloration blooms across the skin, the first visible sign of the feast within. You think of your body as a fortress. It is merely a buffet waiting for the locks to break. Right now, billions of microscopic entities are perfectly poised to dismantle you from the inside out. You are not their master, you are their next meal. As these bacteria digest your internal organs, they excrete waste. Hydrogen sulfide, methane, ammonia, and putrescine flood the abdominal cavity. The pressure builds relentlessly. Your abdomen distends, swelling tightly under the accumulating gas. This internal pressure forces stagnant, decomposed fluids upward, purging them from the mouth and nose in a dark, foul-smelling stream. Meanwhile, the hydrogen sulfide reacts with the iron in your hemoglobin, forming sulfhemoglobin. This dark, greenish-black substance seeps into the superficial blood vessels, painting an intricate, branching pattern across your skin. Forensic pathologists call this marbling. It is a grim putrefied prose written across your chest and limbs, mapping out a dead vascular system for the examiner's eye. The structure of your flesh is collapsing under this cellular occupation. The skin blisters and slips away at the slightest touch. Your hair and nails loosen in their follicles. The architecture of your identity is dissolving into a foul, liquid chaos. You will lose your face. You will lose your fingerprints. The biological machine you spent a lifetime curating will be efficiently, mercilessly broken down by the invisible laborers you carried within your own gut. They will inherit your shell. The internal gas pressure cannot hold forever. The bloated face gives way to inevitable rupture. The skin, once a flawless biological barrier, becomes frail flesh vellum tearing under the relentless, mounting strain. As the abdominal cavity breaches, ambient oxygen rushes back into the dark, anaerobic interior. This is the necessary catalyst for the next stage, active decay. The dinner bell rings for the scavengers. Within minutes of your final breath, blowflies had already found you, laying delicate, microscopic eggs in the moist corners of your eyes, your nostrils, the drying edges of your slack mouth. You are currently looking at a screen through the exact same eyes that will soon serve as a damp nursery for 1,000 feeding larvae. You wash your face every morning, meticulously tending to the future real estate of a carrion fly. Now, those eggs hatch. A concentrated maggot mass forms. It is not merely a collection of insects, it functions as a single, superheated organism, raising the local temperature of your remains by several degrees above ambient. They secrete powerful digestive enzymes that rapidly turn solid muscle and connective tissue into a foul, liquid broth. This is the undeniable peak of your entropic anatomy, a complete, humiliating structural surrender to the lowest forms of life. The organs you relied upon, the liver that fiercely filtered your blood, the delicate folds of the cortex that housed every memory, every fear, every pattern you ever recognized, melt into a gray, unrecognizable slurry. The body is effectively digesting itself, violently accelerated by a frantic, writhing frenzy of external jaws. As this profound liquefaction progresses, a dark, oily fluid purges into the environment, forming a cadaveric decomposition island beneath your remains. This rich, highly concentrated fluid instantly kills the surrounding vegetation. It permanently alters the chemical pH of the earth itself, etching a dark cadaver calligraphy into the soil that maps the exact coordinates of your decay. The earth does not eagerly welcome you. It physically chokes on the concentrated rot pouring from your collapsing frame. The ground itself must be poisoned by the toxic spill of your undoing before it can finally absorb you. Your biomass drops exponentially. The muscle sloughs away from the bone in heavy, wet sheets. The intricate biological machine is gone. Only the stained, unyielding scaffolding remains. The biological failure of the human form triggers a profound behavioral contagion in the living. We must examine this clinical profile of compulsion. Why do you avert your eyes from the dead? Why do you insist on locking them in hermetically sealed boxes, pumping their collapsed veins with formaldehyde and false color? It is a deep, psychological immune response to dermal entropy. You are a creature of pattern recognition, heavily programmed by evolution to reject the sight of a biological machine returning to its base elements. The olfactory assault of putrescine and cadaverine triggers an involuntary gag reflex, a primitive alarm system screaming at you to flee the source of contamination. When you view a corpse, your mirror neurons violently misfire. The mortuary sciences are a grand, collective delusion. Right now, you are decaying. Your telomeres shorten with every division. Your joints are stiffening. You demand a cosmetic lie at the end because the truth of the cadaver is too violent for your fragile psyche to withstand. You pay technicians to suture the jaw, to wire the eyelids shut, to force a peaceful expression onto a skull that has just lost a grueling war. You dress the meat in a tailored suit and pretend it is merely asleep. This compulsion to preserve is the ultimate mimetic stain. It is an inherited illusion, passed down through generations, whispering that we can pause the biological clock. We believe we can halt the autolysis with a few gallons of carcinogenic pink fluid, a futile attempt to scrub the biorust from the gears of our mortality. But the bacteria do not care about the airtight mahogany casket. They do not respect the synthetic satin lining. Formaldehyde only delays the feast, it does not cancel it. Your compulsion to sanitize death is a desperate, pathetic attempt to separate the human ego from the natural order of the food chain. But you cannot sanitize the absolute. The rot is patient. It will always find you. The flesh has fully retreated. What remains is the silent, enduring architecture of the bone. This is skeletonization, the final, inescapable plateau of your decay. All the moisture, all the agonizing tension of rigor, all the putrid gases have exhausted themselves into the atmosphere. The cartilage that cushion your joints, the microscopic shock absorbers of your daily commute, dries out, cracks, and turns to dust. The marrow within your femurs, once a vibrant factory for your lifeblood, solidifies into a dry, hollow echo of a pulse. You believe your skeleton is a permanent monument. You think it will outlast the memory of your name. It is merely a bone palimpsest, a temporary draft waiting to be overwritten by the slow, grinding friction of the earth. Over decades, or perhaps centuries if the soil is kind, even these hard calcium pillars will succumb to the ground's acidity and the relentless gnawing of specialized, root-borne fungi. This is the ultimate fractal decay. The macro dissolves into the micro. The heavy skull that protected your delicate consciousness, the bone that housed your deepest secrets, will flake and fracture. It will return its calcium and phosphorus to the dirt to feed the very roots that choked it. You are not a separate, sovereign entity from the dirt beneath your feet. You are simply a temporary, highly organized arrangement of its dust, currently suffering from the arrogant illusion of individuality. Your life is a brief, frantic rebellion against chemical equilibrium. But biology always, invariably, collects its epigenetic debt. When the sun finally beats down on your exposed ribs, bleaching them a sterile, brilliant white against the soil, the precise timeline of autolysis and putrefaction is officially complete. There is nothing left for the bacteria to consume. The blowflies have moved on to fresher, more vital tragedies. You have been entirely, clinically erased. If you wish to document your own inevitable descent, leave your mark in the comments section below, a digital ossuary scripture proving you survived this grim diagnosis. To feed the algorithm is to accept the rot. Like this video to accelerate the decay, and subscribe to bind your fragile mind permanently to the slab. The autopsy is mandatory. Attendance is just your submission to the biological law. This specimen file is now sealed. The coil grows only when its specimens multiply. We are not finished. We have never been finished.